Okay, here in this problem, we've got a quadratic 4x squared minus 24x plus 11. It's a function. We want to put it in this form. Okay, we're going to put it in vertex form and then tell them what the vertex is. All right, so all I need to do is x is equal to negative b over 2a. Find the x part of the vertex. Substitute in that x into the original to find out the y part of the vertex. And then substitute into this equation the h and the k to write it in vertex form. So go ahead and pause this and write this in vertex form and then start back up again, and we'll see how you did. All right, great. So we got negative b over 2a. That's going to be 24 over 8. That's going to give us an x value of 3. And once we take that 3 and substitute it back in, we're going to take it and replace all those x's with a 3 and then just find out what it equals to. That'll be our y. It's going to be a negative 25. That's our vertex. That's our h and our k. So when we go to plug it in, keep in mind the a is going to be the same for both equations. So this is what I get for the vertex form, and it looks like theirs just fine. Keep in mind, if they were to ask you about a, b, or c, just tell them the numbers that you see. Now the vertex is going to be 3, negative 25. All right, now for b. Function is now got a different domain. The domain is going to be less than or equal to 1. So keep in mind, here's our vertex, 3, negative 25. And then we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Our x's are going to go down. And then where this meets up, we got a point on our graph, 1 something. That's going to be the smallest possible y value because this goes up forever. So what we've got to do is figure out what that y value is, and then we'll be able to figure out what the range is. So what I want you to do is substitute in the 1 into the function, find out what the y is, and then state the range, and then start back up again. And we'll compare. Awesome. Okay, so when you put that back in there, what you're going to find is that if I have all those that have it to be 1, that it's going to be a negative 9. So 0.1, negative 9 is where we can start off. That's the smallest possible y. So that means the rest of the y's must be greater than or equal to that negative 9. So all we got to do is write g of x is greater than or equal to negative 9. That's the range. Now, part C, they want us to find the inverse and then state the domain of the inverse. Okay, so we've got to first take that vertex form of the equation we wrote a minute ago and then switch the x's and y's and then get y by itself, and then we'll have the inverse function, and then all we got to do is figure out the domain. So why don't you go ahead and pause this and see what you can do with that. Solve for y, and then see if you can't figure out what the domain's supposed to be. All right, fantastic. Okay, so if we add 25 to both sides, we're going to get x plus 25. Then we're going to divide by 4. We got to have x plus 25 divided by 4. Then we've got to square root both sides. And so we're going to have the square root of x plus 25 over 4 is going to be equal to y minus 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 to both sides, and we're going to get x plus 25 over 4. And now the big question is it a plus or a minus? Now keep in mind, we're on this side of the vertex going up. So is it a plus or a minus? It's a minus. And the easy way to do this, think about it, no matter where it is. If I'm going to use the side over here on the right side when it's opened up, I'm going to use the right side. Well, the inverse is always going to be a positive square root function. So it's going to be a plus. If I'm going to use the other side, and I don't care if I use all of it or part of it, well, then what's going to happen is my inverse is going to be a negative square root function. Because keep in mind, it's got to reflect over the y equals x line. Anyway, that's how I know it's going to be negative. And the domain, well, we already figured that out because the domain is going to be the same as the range as the original. So once I already know the range for the original is greater than or equal to negative 9, so our domain is x is greater than or equal to negative 9. And we're done. All right, thanks for watching. Hope that helped.